Hi there, my name's Andy Young and I'm one of the automotive lecturers down at Unitec in Auckland, New Zealand, and welcome to my Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. Now, on this short video, I'm going to show you how to check a cylinder head for warpage. Now, cylinder heads can become warped, because the engine's overheated or somebody's put the head bolts in incorrectly or over tightened them or done them up in the wrong order, and for many other reasons too. And a warped cylinder head is a really serious problem because it can often cause the head gasket to fail. And if you're rebuilding the engine, there's no point in putting a fault back in there again. It's your job to make sure there's no more faults and you've fixed everything whilst you're assembling it. So to do this test, you're going to need an engineer's straight edge. Now, this isn't a ruler. It's not just a flat piece of steel out of the workshop. It's actually been machined pretty much dead flat. That's the idea behind it. And it has two sides. It has a non-machined side and it has a machined side, and you have to use the machined side. I tell my students that all the time and they often forget. You're also going to need a set of feeler gauges and make sure that they're in the same scale as whatever your specs are. The specs for this Toyota engine are metric, so I've got a set of metric feeler gauges here. And lastly, you need to make sure that you've cleaned up the gasket surface on your cylinder head. There's no point in trying to do this test with bits of old gasket on the head. It's not going to give you a conclusive reading. Now, it's actually quite easy. You just get the engineer's straight edge, and this is the edge that's been machined. We'll make sure it's nice and clean. This has got a few dents on it, but students have been using it. Okay, and that sits. We're going to do one check like that, one check like that, one 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 like that, and one like that. And that pretty much covers all the bases. So all you need to do is get your feeler gauges and choose a really thin one. I don't know, let's go for something. And obviously looking at specs is always helpful. So there's 0.1 of a millimetre. That's a pretty round number. Let's see how we do with that. And I'm going to show you the technique and then we'll have a look and see what the specs are. Okay, so we'll start off in that one, the first diagonal. And all you need to do is just holding the feeler gauge, holding the engineer's straight edge in place, not pushing down on it. You're just going along and you just need to see if that feeler gauge goes underneath that straight edge at any point. Okay, it doesn't. That's really good. Now, let's see what the specs are and see what the maximum tolerance is allowed. Okay, so according to the Toyota workshop manual, which I managed to download, the maximum warpage permissible on this Rav4 engine is 0.05 millimeters. Now, we've just checked it at 0.1 mil, which is twice as much as what it should be, and it passed that. So now let's find the feeler gauge. Oh, look at that. 0.5 millimeters. Well, 0.51. There you go, look. Okay. So we'll use that. And if that goes under the engineer's straight edge, between the edge and the cylinder head surface, it's a fail. And we'll have to get the cylinder head skimmed to make it nice and flat again. If, however, at no point under any of those tests does this feeler gauge go underneath, then in theory, the head is a pass. But there are other reasons why you can get a head skimmed too, and that's if the mating surface has been damaged. So we'll have a look at that later on as well. But we'll do this test first. Okay, so the engineer's straight edge is in the same place, and we've now got a feeler gauge half as thick as what we used before. This is a 0.5 millimeter, and that's the maximum warpage permissible on the cylinder head of this Rav4 engine. Okay. All looking pretty good. Now, this engine, as far as I'm aware, during the time that I've owned it, which is only about 2 years, a year and a half, it's never had an overheating problem. It's been really well kept cool, actually. The cooling systems worked extremely well, but you never know. You never know the history of these things. So. What you can also do, another little trick, get a torch and just shine the torch along, and if you suddenly get a beam of light coming through the gap, that's somewhere you should really be having a good look at with your feeler gauge, just double checking. And of course, the most likely place to have the feeler gauge pass through is in the middle of the head. Now I was getting a little bit of light through there, and it's pretty close. It's trying to go underneath on that bit, but it's still a pass, okay? And then we'll do it straight across the middle. That's the last of the long tests along the length of the head. That's a pass. And now we can do across the head, and we do it in 3 different places. Wow. Let's do it in 5 just to be sure. You can never really do too much, you know. The whole idea is you just check it as much as you can. It's looking pretty good. You really want to be holding on to the straight edge as little as possible, otherwise you might falsify the figures. Now I think we had 2 more tests to do. Let's just try along there. That was a water hole, by the way, so it wasn't a fail. Okay, we've got 1 more to go. I'll do it on this side for you. Maybe you can see better that way. Cool. Okay, well, I think that's a pass. So, this particular Rav4 engine, with a specification of 0.05 millimeters maximum warpage on the head, is actually a pass. I do think it's very slightly warped, and we could drop the feeler gauge down and find out, but I haven't got time for that, and I suppose neither of you. But it is a pass, and it doesn't need to be skimmed, and that's actually a good thing, because this is a budget repair. It's a $500 car. Don't want to spend more than $500 fixing it. Otherwise, what's the point? I'm just going to get another one. But, you know. So, there you go. Short video on how to check a cylinder head for warpage using a set of feeler gauges and an engineer's straight edge. And this is the tool that you're going to struggle with. You're going to have to either beg, borrow, or steal, or even maybe buy one of these to do this particular task. Otherwise, just using a bit of box section, a bit of angle iron, or an old ruler, it's not going to work. You're just going to, you know, most likely fail the head and get it skimmed when it doesn't really need to be done. So, yeah, get the tools, do it once, do it right. There you go. Okay, any questions or comments, please leave them down the bottom, and I'll do my very best to give you, to get back to you and help you along your path through life and get things sorted out for you. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, then please do. You're going to get notifications free of charge as and when any new videos get put up onto the YouTube channel. And well, there is a huge series of all the various tests that need to be done when rebuilding an engine, to all the measurements. So look out for all the other ones. I'm not going to list them all in this video. Okay, cheers, thanks for watching, over and out.